welcome back to my channel. Hi, if this is your first time here, my name is Sandy Harkeen and welcome to my beauty space. You will find everything that deals with beauty here on my channel, and if you are a returning subscriber, hi, welcome back. Thank you for everyone for being here today. So for today's video, I wanted to do a contour and highlight video. Yay! I get a lot of questions on what do I use for foundation, how does my face look so flawless, and how does my skin look even and you can't tell where your contour and highlight start or end. So I start or stops. So I decided to do a dedicated contour and highlight, including me applying my foundation and my primer, so the whole 9 yards, you guys. I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the products that I do use. But for today's video, I'm only going to be using Drugstore. So nothing high-end. It's literally every single product that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is all Drugstore. So you guys can definitely pick any of these items up without hurting the bank. If you guys are interested on how I apply my foundation and how I cream and contour with Drugstore products, then please keep on watching. Okay, so first things first, you guys, is skincare. That is huge. Huge when it comes to your makeup application. If you don't do your skincare, especially if you have like dry skin, you know, you have like those dry patchiness, or even me, I do have combo. I do get really dry around my eye area, around the mouth, but oily in my T-zone. But if I don't exfoliate or if I don't do any skincare prior to doing my foundation, and then I feel like I don't look as bomb or as flawless, you know? So right now I did my skincare about like 20 minutes ago, so I think we are ready to go. I don't know why I keep doing this. Alright, so now step number 2 is applying a really good primer. So I'm a primer girl. There's people that don't like primers, that honestly their face looks more flawless without a primer. Everybody is different, but for me personally, I can't go without applying a primer because I feel like my makeup doesn't last as long when I don't put one on, and I just feel like personally I'm missing a step and I feel really uncomfortable. Or maybe I'm just used to applying a primer, but for me, I feel like it really makes a difference. I'm going to this new primer. I've never played with this. This is from Revlon. It's their Prime Plus Mattifying and Pore Reducing. They did come out with 2 other primers that do different things as well. So this is my first time using it, so we will see. I normally just struggle with redness on my skin, and then sometimes acne. I don't know why. That's normally when my period comes. I start to break out like before it comes, and then once I'm off it, I break out again, and I hate it. I hate that. So here's the primers. You guys can see, have been here on my channel, you know that I don't like silicone-based primers. I feel like they feel really dry on my skin, and I just feel like the foundation skips, and it's just my personal preference. I just don't really like them. I like more of a primer that feels more like a lotion, and I feel like I like my skin to feel hydrated, but I still want a little bit of blur for my pores, but I don't want to be completely dry, you know what I mean? So this actually, whoa, this actually feels pretty good, and the reason why I'm saying whoa is because it completely mattified my pores, but it still feels hydrated. Does this have silicone? So it doesn't say that it doesn't have any silicone. Oh, I'm feeling something. I'm not liking it already because look, oh, I think this has silicone because look at the texture of it. Do you guys see that? I don't like when they do, see, look, and then when you go like that comes off. I don't like that. So that's why I always, this has silicone, I think, because whenever I put on primers that have this, I don't like that. This is why I always go to these 2 because they're my absolutely favorite. The Too Faced Hangover Primer, love, 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 love. And then the All Nighter Face Primer. It's also a really, really good primer. So this is why I don't like to try anything new or anything that does have silicone, because of that same reason as you guys just saw here. Just because one product didn't work for me doesn't mean that it may not work for you. So always just keep that in mind when it comes to product reviews or anything like that. All right, now it's time for step number 3, and that is a foundation. So when it comes to cream contour, you guys, and highlight, I don't like to put on a lot of foundation because we are gonna go in and layer more products. We're gonna go ahead and layer concealer, cream contour, bronzer, all that stuff. So I really want my base to look more softer and more natural, more like skin, just because we are gonna go in with those other extra products. Foundation, I consider it drugstore because it's only $12 and it's from Beauty Creations Stay Flawless Foundation and it's a medium to full coverage. I actually already did a review on this foundation, so I will link it here so you guys can check that out. But I love this foundation and I'm in the shade 3.5. So this sponge, you guys, is my absolutely favorite. I always been using this. I do have the original Beauty Blender, but I don't know why. I like it, but I'm not as obsessed or in love with it as I am with the Real Techniques one. And I'm being extra careful just because we have that primer on and I don't want any surprises. You also want to go down the chin and then go in a little bit towards your neck so that way everything looks blended and there's no lines of demarcation. When it comes to my foundation, I also like to really sit here and blend it out and really allow it to soak into my skin. I know a lot of people always say, oh my god, like I always just slap it on and I go, and for me personally, I just really like to take my time and make sure that everything is blended. And also when it comes to looking for the perfect foundation shade, you guys, it's honestly matching your chest and your neck to your face. So now it's step number 4. Now it's time for concealer, you guys. I'm gonna go into 2 different shades of concealer. Now the reason why is because I've learned in the past that when I only use the concealer that matches me, which is a more lighter concealer, I felt like whenever I would apply my setting powder and everything was done, I felt like it still looked pretty bright under here, which is totally okay if that is a look that you were going for. I know that Kim Kardashian did that once. She likes a really bright under eye. But if you don't like that look, I always go into a concealer shade that is 1 shade darker than the actual shade that I normally use. Now I've noticed that that really helps neutralize my under eye, and then if I want some extra brightness, I go into a more lighter concealer for that extra brightness. First concealer I'm gonna go into is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the shade 150 Neutralizer. I used to use this concealer, you guys, so much back in the day. At like 2 or 3 years ago, I used to use it every single day. I love it. I feel like it's such a good concealer. I really like how you can just twist and the product comes up. Then I'm gonna apply some right here. Now, of course, I have a round face shape. So if you do have a round face shape, you can definitely follow the steps that I'm gonna be doing today. If you do have a more narrow, different face shape, there is a difference between how you cream contour, but sometimes I do the exact same steps, except I apply less. So for me, for an example, I have a round face, right? My forehead is not that big, so when it comes to highlight, I can put a lot of highlight if I want to, because my forehead is already small. Now, if you have a bigger forehead than I do, then you definitely want to apply less highlight, because if you apply more highlight, you're going to make your forehead appear larger. So contour minimizes the areas that you don't want to come forward, and anything that you highlight is anything that you want to bring forward. So this is why I like using this method, because I can control how much concealer I can blend going this way. And I do it like this, like a triangle, but this also prevents from adding too much product. In the past, I would always do the triangle that went like this, and I would apply so much concealer, and then you would have too much concealer. And then for me, I felt like I put too much, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck, now what do I do? So this is just what works for me. And then on my chin, I like to apply just a little bit. On the Cupid's bow, I normally don't, but I guess we'll just do it for the purpose of the video. But I normally don't do it here. And then down the nose, I do like to apply just a little bit too. So one of my tips, you guys, when it comes to my concealer is that I always like to leave it like this, sitting or baking, I guess you can call it too, while I blend out the cream contour, which we're gonna go into in just a second. I just feel like it really gives me a better coverage and it just looks more flawless. So I've been doing this lately and I've been loving the results. So to cream contour, I'm gonna go into the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, and I'm gonna go into the shade 415 Honey. To blend out my concealer, I'm gonna go into a brush. This is the Do You Care? I think Do You Care? I got it in one of my BoxyCharm boxes. I always like to start around the cheek area, and I start to blend the concealer circular motions. And when it comes to the cream contour, you guys, you want to find where your cheekbone is at. So for me, I can see it right here. I mean, I've been doing my face for years, so I know where my cheekbones are at, but you definitely want to feel where yours are at and just kind of go like this, and I can feel them right here. And then whatever I have left, I do take it into my eyes so that once we go in with eyeshadow, everything looks blended and smooth. You never want to apply your cream contour too low because then you will bring your face down and it's going to look really saggy. So always keep it up like this. And right here too, just do the exact same thing. I love to apply my cream contour with a brush. I just feel like it blends it out really nicely. You can also go into your your Real Techniques beauty sponge and apply it. Now, if you do have a more smaller head than I do and more narrow, then you don't have to apply this much cream contour because you have a smaller face. Now for my forehead, like I said, I don't have such a big forehead, so I try to get it as close to my hairline as possible. I still want it to look bronzy, but I don't want it to look super small, you know? And then whatever you have left, just take it towards the bottom for your double chin. If you do want to minimize that, just use whatever you have left from the brush. Don't go in and apply too much because then that's when it starts to look really muddy. Y se ve bien marcado and it doesn't look cute. So always go in with whatever you have left from applying the rest of the product on your face. And then I have to go in back to my beauty sponge with the foundation left over and just go right on top of it to smooth it out and make it look less harsh and more natural. To cream contour my nose, I always wait at the end after I'm done blending out my concealer. So right now, let's go ahead and blend this out. So I'm gonna go back into the sponge, and then when it comes to the concealer, I like to take it up like this into the cream contour. So you guys can see like how bomb the coverage looks. So that's why I love to let it sit for a little bit. And with this concealer, you have some time to blend it out. I understand that there's some concealers that you have to blend it out right away, but that's why I like using a concealer more like this formula or the KKW Beauty, because you have more time to really allow it to sit and you still have time to blend it out. And then I go back into my contour brush and just blend out the edges so that way there's no harsh lines with the concealer. Once again, that is one of the reasons why I like to only apply my concealer like we did earlier, because you have the control to apply more product and you're moving it going this way. So you don't have to do like that triangle that we all used to do and it was so popular back in the day. I feel like it applies too much product. For the nose, I'm gonna go into a smaller little sponge. You can find this at, I think I got it at Ulta. And I'm gonna go ahead and use it for my nose. Okay, so now it's time to contour the nose. For me, you guys, I'm not an expert on contouring noses. I just like to apply some bronzer and make it look a little bit slimmer, but I don't have like a specific technique that's gonna make your nose, you know, look really, really skinny. I don't know. So what I like to do is I go into my Morphe E30 and going back into that same L'Oreal concealer, and I like to go ahead and just go towards the sides of my nose and on the tip of my nose. And then I do take it up towards the brows and into my crease so that when we go in with eyeshadows or with whatever we're gonna go ahead and use, there's no harsh line like right here, you know, so you don't see where it stops. You do want to dry it up towards the brows. So as you guys can see how many products we've applied so far on the skin. So that's why I always like to apply a very small amount of foundation, at least just covering up the redness or any imperfections that you have, but I feel like the concealer and cream contour takes care of everything. So I'm gonna go back into the Maybelline concealer and go back on top like this just to clean it up a little bit. Okay, so let's say you want a little bit more brightness under the eye. Like I said before, this is like the first layer, the main layer for the concealer, and then we're gonna go into something more light. So I'm gonna go into the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Light number 18. And what we're gonna do is place it just right here. I go into the smaller sponge and then just blend it out. So you guys notice that it gives you enough brightness and without applying so much more concealer. Okay, so now it's time for highlight. Yes, I said highlight. So I love to do this trick, you guys, when it comes to highlight. I like to apply it right now that my skin is wet and we have already laid our creams down, because when you apply the highlight, I'm gonna go into the CoverGirl True Blend Super Center. If you guys don't have these highlighters, you're missing out. They're so bomb. This is a shade called Pearl Crush, and I'm gonna go into my Morphe R40 to apply my highlight. So I love to go into highlight right now, you guys, because since the skin is wet, it looks really, really glowy. And when you go in to set it with your powder, it looks like you have a glow within, which is really crazy because then when you layer the highlight at the end of all of your makeup application, it just looks more bright, it lasts a lot longer, and it just looks so much more bomb. Now when it comes to highlight, you want to apply it right above the cheekbone. You don't want to apply it all the way in towards the eye right here, because once the light hits it, you won't be able to see it. So I feel like when you apply it right above the cheekbones and the light hits your face, then you'll be able to be like, whoa. A little bit above my nose, but not too much. So now to set my face, I'm gonna go into my Maybelline. This is the loose powder in the shade Light 01. I absolutely love this powder so much, you guys. I feel like it really allows my face to look really flawless, and it actually does make my makeup last a lot longer too. And it's from the drugstore, so hey, and I've been using this for quite some time now here on my channel. And so I love it too because it has a nice beige undertone, so it's not gonna give me that flashback when I take pictures, which is a big deal for me when it comes to powders. So what I'm gonna do, you guys, is I always like to look up, and because we have natural creases under the eyes, I like to blend that out, and then I will apply the powder. So let's say you go in without blending out the lines, then the lines will stay that way. So you always want to smooth it out again, just in case, and then apply your powder. And we're gonna set the areas where we place the concealer. And then with whatever you have left, I like to bounce it around the skin to set everything. Now it's time for bronzer. While we do let this bake and sit here for a little bit, I'm gonna go into my Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 200. I love this bronzer so much because one, it's matte, and I like the color of it. It doesn't look too red or too orange. I like it. I feel like it fits my skin tone perfectly. You don't have to use this. You can go into a more darker bronzer if you want. Right now, I'm just setting the areas where I applied my cream contour. I'm going into a Morphe brush, except the number rubbed off, but I've had this for years, you guys, 4 years, so I don't know what number it is. I think I actually got it in a set. I'm gonna go back in and grab some more powder and just set the bottom. Let it just bake for a little bit. This really is gonna help your face to look really nice and like sunked in. Now I'm gonna go into blush. The blush I'm gonna go into is this one from Maybelline, and it's the Fit Me blush in the shade 40. Now I'm gonna go into my Sonia Kashuk brush for blush, and I'm just gonna smile. And then with my blush, you guys, I do take it into the contour and going up like this. Not too much blush. I still want this look to look very bronzy, but I also want to make sure that they both blend together and that there's no harsh lines and you can't tell where the blush stops. You want everything to look seamless. We are almost done, you guys. Now it's time to apply a highlight again. Well, at this point, you don't really need to if you don't want to, because I can still see the highlight on the sides of my cheeks. So I absolutely love that because that just means I don't have to go back in and apply some more if I don't want to and add extra product. But I'm just gonna go into just a little bit more, just right here, and bump it up a little bit more. So as you guys can see, it really takes it up to another level. On the rest of my face, I'm not gonna apply no more highlight except for here, just a little bit more. But on my nose, anywhere else, I'm not going to apply any because I do get oily, so I don't want it to look super greasy throughout the day today. Now we're gonna go ahead and dust off the powder. I'm gonna go into my Morphe Y11 brush. I love this little guy, to dust off or apply any setting powder to my face. And I'm gonna go ahead and just start to dust it and honestly take it into my skin. Give it that extra setting. All right, my honey, so that's pretty much it, how I cream, contour, and apply my foundation and apply the rest of my products with drugstore products. Isn't that crazy? My skin looks so good right now, looks so flawless. Really quick disclaimer, I know that in the camera it has a soft skin effect. Once again, I've been seeing it in the comments, I can't fix that. My camera, I don't know what's going on. If you guys have been watching me for a while, then you may have heard me say that my camera is literally breaking down on me. I don't know why it's showing a skin softening effect right now when literally in the settings, it clearly says that it's off. So I don't know what's going on. I don't have money to fix it or buy a new camera, so we gotta deal with what we have. I know it's really annoying. I'm not trying to portray, you know, soft skin and people should have this type of skin. Like, not at all. That's not what my channel's all about. I'm sorry for the skin softening effect on my camera. I hate it. I don't like it either. But what can we do about it, right? No hay lana, we can't buy a new camera, you know? So I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my brows, apply some lashes and a lip color, and then I will end the video. So give me 1 second. All right, my honeys. So I went ahead and already applied my lashes, put on some lips, and also did my brows. If you guys are interested on what I have on my lips right now, it's actually by Maybelline. I love this color so much. It's the Super Stay Matte Ink Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the shade 55 Driver. I love it. For the lip pencil though, I did go into my KKW Beauty and collab with Mario in the shade Beauty Icon. So with that said, you guys, that's pretty much it for today's video, showing you guys how I cream, contour, and highlight and apply my foundation. What do you guys think? Do you already do these steps? Let me know down in the comments. And if you do decide to do these steps on yourself, let me know what you think. But this is pretty much how I do my face. Even when I do apply high-end products, it's the exact same process. Right now, I honestly am looking at myself in the mirror and I literally feel like I have high-end products on my skin right now. Drugstore, you guys, is seriously coming up, and you don't have to break the bank to look flawless or to have a really good makeup application. That's pretty much it for today. I love you guys so much. Thank you again for being here. Do not forget to subscribe before you leave and click that little notification bell which notifies you every time that I upload a new video here on YouTube. Los quiero mucho. Besitos, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!